got our answer. We don't like it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Nerds and Around. On my left of me, I have Antonio. On the right of me, I have B-Ride. We're here on Nerds, and we're going to talk about Aliens, the Aliens franchise. Me and Antonio got to see the last Aliens movie by Ridley Scott, and there's been a lot going on with the franchise, especially with the whole, if it goes through, the whole Fox and Disney deal. I heard Comcast is probably trying to step their game up in that. How do you guys feel with the current state of the franchise?
I mean, I'm an old school guy. I think the first three movies were fine. Prometheus was fine. I mean, I didn't get to see Covenant.
Covenant
was
I mean, I heard it was okay.
It was better than Prometheus.
It was.
It was way better than Prometheus. But I'm like you, I'm old school. I think Aliens is like the pinnacle of science fiction.
I mean, come on,
Aliens,
Weaver, the queen of sci-fi.
It's just so good.
The queen of sci-fi.
It's just
yeah. I put it this way: the whole Aliens franchise for me is Aliens, which is the second one. Alien 3, you could probably get away skimming away a little bit with that because we were kind of sold on the fact that in the commercials they were like it was coming to Earth. Yeah. They didn't do that. But then they went to the whole prison plan, and I feel that's where they kind of dropped the ball a little bit. But again,
Resurrection happened.
And no, Resurrection, no, they really dropped the ball. Like it was that movie doesn't. We will not speak of its name. Yeah. It's like the Lord Voldemort of the series. But no, yeah, Aliens Resurrection doesn't exist, and then they got tied up with the whole thing of Aliens versus Predator, which the first one was good because the first one was kind of loosely based off the book. It's kind of the same situation that happened.
The premise,
they just changed it.
Like the idea of Aliens versus Predator is something that we wanted as fans. Just I think the movie didn't deliver on what we wanted.
I mean, the movie did deliver because I mean they were killing everything.
But the thing is,
everything. I mean, even children were getting slaughtered in the movie.
Well, that's the second movie. The second movie dropped the ball. Because if you see the first movie kind of followed the book because they had the Aliens vs. Predator book. The only problem is that they moved the whole story to Earth. The original Aliens vs. Predator stories didn't take place on Earth. So they just wanted to do a whole thing where the aliens came to Earth. That's it.
It was really, really slow to deliver. Like I said, I didn't get to see Covenant. I heard mixed reviews on Covenant.
It gave you that alien fix that you've been wanting, that you thought Prometheus was going to give you. Like I remember when I went to go see Prometheus, I thought, okay, Ridley Scott, this is going to be great. It's going to be aliens, and like you're watching the movie, waiting for the alien to show up, and all this other stuff happens. You're like, I don't really care.
You don't really care.
You know, like you have the space jockey. And like, oh, it's cool. We know who the space jockey is, but let's just not talk about that.
Hey, it's just like watching Watchmen.
Yeah,
you're just like, oh, and then.
Listen, Watchmen's coming back as a show. I mean, the one thing that Watchmen delivered to us was a big blue thing. That's it.
Like I said, I'm old school. I mean, I enjoyed the first Alien and Aliens, which was the second one. All they did was put the S at the end.
Yep.
Let's give a shout out to the late actor Bill Paxton, who played Hudson Aliens, because Hudson, I think, was one of the favorite characters in the franchise.
He was.
Everyone loved Hudson. We had Neil Blomkamp. If anyone doesn't remember, he did District 9 and he did Chappie. Neil Blomkamp had released sketches for a possible Aliens 5, which it's still a possibility. How would you guys feel if we actually got the Neil Blomkamp Aliens 5?
No. Like I said, I'm old school. If you make a trilogy, leave it at that. You know, Hollywood is just messing up movies right now. Especially remakes or trying to continue on with this so-called universe. Like you said, Alien Resurrection. You should have just left it at.
But when even because Alien Resurrection doesn't exist, Neil Blomkamp was gonna get rid of that. That wasn't gonna count.
Actually, he was gonna get rid of Alien 3 as well. Yeah. Alien 5 was gonna take place after Aliens, and they had all the sketch art for Hicks and everything, like with the scars and all that. And I think that would.
He's gonna retcon that whole thing.
Yeah, but see, like I said, the thing with Hollywood is like, you know, they're just trying to make money, and they just throwing stuff out there that they shouldn't throw out there. I mean, look how many sequels bomb at the box office.
But I think with this, it was a different case because Neil Blomkamp, when he released those sketches, he released it as a fan. I think he's more of a fan of the series. It was going to bring back Hicks, Noob. It was going to erase Aliens 3. It was going to erase Aliens Resurrection because it was going to be what he felt where Aliens should have went, where the third movie should have went for the series.
Well, it's kind of like how you're saying what they did with Days of Future Past. Or actually, First Class.
Yeah,
actually, like, you know, Days of Future Past, they took away X-Men 3, they took away all the Wolverine movies, they took everything away. Because they know they screwed up.
Yeah, sometimes a franchise needs a fresh start. I think it should have happened. I think the direction where he was going to go would have been a fresh direction for the series. Not to say that what Ridley Scott is doing is not, bad. I feel like for some fans, it's still leaving, like with Prometheus. One of the big questions everyone had was, why are there still so many questions? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then in the second movie, again, you're left with all these questions. Now, what I liked is the Michael Fassbender character, David. I mean, David was really showcased in these movies, and I feel like the movie should just be called David at this point.
Yeah, it was pretty much the Michael Fassbender show.
Yes, it was.
It was the reason why the aliens were created. Spoilers
right there, yes. And I think that in a way a lot of fans were kind of mad at that because it had taken away from the origins of the aliens. Because I remember, I was like, they could have done a movie where like, where did the aliens come from? We got our answer. We don't like it. It's like when George Lucas said the Force comes from a diseased midichlorians, right?
Yes, these little itty bitsy things in your blood, and the more you have, the more powerful you are. Yeah, and we never talk about midichlorians ever again.
No. How did you guys feel about that when he disclosed that in Aliens, like in Prometheus, that they were just created by David?
Well, we saw it together, and it was one of those things where it was kind of a letdown because I kind of agree with you. I kind of wanted to know where they're from. Like, predators have a homeworld. Yeah. There's a whole ecosystem where the predators come from. They have there's a society and there's a culture with them, and aliens were just the byproduct of a science experiment. And I think
genetically made.
And I just think for what they are to us as fans and science fiction fans, I think their origin should have been better. It should have been better.
And actually, I'm glad you touched up on that with the whole Predator homeworld. If you remember in the Aliens versus Predator movies, the Predators, and it also goes back into the comics, the Predators used to use the aliens, send their offspring into different worlds. What will happen is that world would be populated with aliens, and the Predator would send their young. It was kind of like rite of passage. I can't say the word. Passage.
You good?
It was a rite of passage where young predators went to go hunt these aliens. Now, in the movie itself, it touched up that if they failed and the world became too populated, they blew up that world.
Yeah.
But if they passed,
and then they touched on that in the AVP movie.
Oh yeah, and it was in the book too. Yeah. In the book, it was these young predators. I'm gonna spoil the book. Everybody didn't get to see the Aliens versus. They got to see the movie, but I know a lot of people didn't get to read the book.
Those books are older than me. You can spoil it.
Oh yeah, I'll spoil it. I want to spoil it. In the Aliens versus Predator books, it took place on a planet. The planet had a colony there that had a herd of cattle. It was a special cattle that they would come pick up. And he'll take it back. It was like kind of like a cattle plant. It was like alien cows. So they were there. They were doing this work, and then all of a sudden, the alien stuff was sent out the eggs. They were there impregnating the cows, so the cows got pregnant by the aliens. 2 crew members for the ship who were there, who were supposed to bring the cattle back, were investigating their cattle, and then they got impregnated. The predators, these were humans. Okay. Now the predators, when they arrived, they were there. Like it was a bunch of young predators. They called them Yuja, or something like that in the book. They were there with their teachers. Their teachers had noticed that a lone human who was the doctor of the colony had wandered onto their grounds. So, and I'm spoiling this book so lovely. So what had happened was that they noticed this, so the teachers tried to apprehend and stop the doctor. Doctor's trying to get away. One of them shoots the doctor's bike. Doctor's bike, long story short, flies into the predator ship, blows up. All the senior predators are dead except for one who was like unconscious somewhere. All the young are like, you know what? The humans killed our masters. Let's go kill them. And they go out because they're like, they're upset with their teachers, and the first thing they do, they murder a family. And kids and everything involved, like, predator style. So, long story short, the human teams up. The lone human, whose name was Maguchi, teams up with the last predator, who was the supposed to supervise him, the one who was unconscious. They take out all the young siblings who just went crazy. At this point, they were just murdering everybody. Like, people are just dying left and right. And then they team up against the alien queen. The main predator, he's dying, but he sees that the human was a warrior, and then he leaves his mark on her, showing that she did the rite of passage. And so when all the other predators come, they see her. She starts to live amongst the predators and learns their whole knowledge and everything, and she becomes one of the hunters with them. That's how that book is.
That's pretty dope.
Well, yeah. But that was the Aliens vs. Predator book. I give a whole story. Yeah. Story time.
That's pretty dope, man.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, if we got that, and that's the thing, that whole thing about the aliens being created by David really shouldn't exist. And that whole...
Because you can't, like, there's just so many questions at that point.
Yeah. And
like, it's created by one android cyborg, whatever he was. And then, you know, you've got this culture getting the eggs, and, like, where are they getting cultivated? Where are they finding, like there's...
Too many questions.
There's too many questions. It's just like,
too
why?
many questions.
It was like, why?
I mean, the way how Prometheus 2 ended, or Aliens Covenant, and the direction where he's been going with Prometheus and all that, do you agree with where the direction where Ridley Scott is going, the original creator of Aliens?
I don't. I think, and I may be misquoting, or I may be misreading, or misremembering. But it just doesn't. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be the way it was back when the first movie came out. You know, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a thing where he created this franchise and then James Cameron came around and was like, I'm going to make the greatest science fiction movie of all time and you're never going to top this. And so he decided to change his direction, but I'm not with it.
Well, you know, he stated that he wants to make the aliens character secondary and kind of get rid of the alien altogether. Which, it's like this. I feel he created something great, and I feel that James Cameron, coming in, he, like you said, he came in, he did something better, it enhanced the series. It kind of created an open universe. And this is not to take away with what Ridley Scott created, because he's created a lot of great work. I feel now it's getting back to the point where, similar with George Lucas did those Star Wars prequels. Ridley Scott, I feel, is doing the same thing, but with the Alien franchise. I feel like when it comes down to it, some creators want to control their stuff too much that they end up killing what they create. As fans of Aliens, do you feel like some of the theories we have has kind of killed the series for us?
Possibly. I think, like you said, one of the theories is like where the aliens coming from. You know, where, you know, do they have a society? Like you said. And then we all got let down when we saw Prometheus because we got this dude who's actually the creator of the aliens. And it also left us too many questions. I mean, just that right there, because, you know, as a fan, when you're watching the series, if you watch the old school series, you're watching this movie and you're just so intrigued by how the whole movie was just basically made. You know, it gives you that sense of fear. It gives you that sense of being a part of the characters. It gives you all of that. And then you're sitting there like, all right, so one of the questions that pops in my head back in the day when I was younger is, wow, where did the aliens come from? Like, how did they make it to this ship? How did they, you know, and then, like you said, that's a fan theory. And when you got all these fans asking these same questions, you know, with social media now, you got Twitter, you got Instagram, you got people tweeting and doing all this, what is it? What's going to happen? The creator's going to try to come up with something to explain where they came from, and it's not what we want.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think... And one of the things that I felt that Prometheus was doing when something I was reading about was like it was asking that question of where do we come from? That was the main point of Prometheus was Weyland trying to figure out where we come from and let's do some research and you find out that humans in that universe may come from the engineers and his son David has that same complex of wanting to know where he comes from and having that type of situation and it takes a really I think awesome question and you use it as a device to morph into the creation of aliens, which I think was stupid.
And also, too, I think... Yeah, it is. And I also think that the Weyland character has been overused because at the end of the day, again, this should have been someone sitting there looking at this as a franchise in a whole because you're confusing fans with, again, when you had the second Aliens versus Predator movie...
Oh, my God.
With that Weyland?
Yeah, Weyland came in again. You had Weyland Industries there, and it's like they already knew about the aliens. So, again, I feel like that also hurts the franchise, is that Aliens vs. Predator movies, I don't think that someone was really sitting back there and they were like, you know what, we're going to let Ridley Scott run as much roughshod with it because he was the creator, and I feel like it's kind of backed him in a hole. Originally, I'm a big sci-fi horror fan. One of my original favorite movies was The Thing. I like the fact that when they did the prequel, the directors did not want to remake the movie because when they did the movie, they were like, we can't remake the original movie because it's like the Mona Lisa. Or like trying to repaint it. That's what I feel with the Aliens franchise. I feel like Ridley Scott is trying to repaint a franchise that already has an established fan base. So for poops and giggles, we're always talking about how Disney is going to buy the Fox franchise library.
Skynet.
Oh yeah.
Disney Skynet. It's either
I thought that was
Disney
Google.
or Google.
Would you watch a Disney special starring Mickey Mouse and his crew meet the aliens?
Okay. I would watch it if Disney would allow it first to be gory and graphic and rated R.
Oh, you know it's going to be gory and graphic and rated
because
R.
It's an imagination. It's gory and graphic and rated R.
Okay, I would definitely watch it because I would love to see.
And it's on Netflix.
Oh my god!
So like you can just do whatever you want.
I mean, I would just love to see. I would just love to see the aliens just
Like,
destroy
Mickey,
the
what is this?
whole Mickey cast.
Oh boy, Goofy looks like an alien.
I think it would be gory as hell. I mean, the only reason I mentioned that because we already had Archie meets the Predator. I'm not sure a lot of people know about that.
Wow.
We did.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about
And
that.
watch this. That book was gory.
Really?
It was gory. So, I mean, I wanted to end with poops and giggles, but I do have one more question. What popular pop culture character would you like to see pop up in the Aliens franchise? I'm going to let you guys pick a character.
I got one. Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead.
Oh,
That's a good one.
I think he would be perfect for a alien movie, and not just the actor.
Without Carl.
Without Carl,
Please.
Like Alien versus Rick Grimes, like just straight. Cause my man, he's out there. Like he thinks he knows everything, but he really doesn't. But he just makes it work.
Tony?
I think Hellboy.
Hellboy? Oh,
Yeah.
that'll be interesting too. That's a nice little concept
I think
right there.
Hellboy. I just think his
If they
his
get Ron,
attitude.
if they get Ron Perlman to do it, yes.
Well, look, we can't sleep on.
No, we can't. I would like to see Ron Perlman.
I know. I think it's Ron Perlman, but I think we can't sleep on Hop. I think Hop's gonna
No,
do
yeah.
a good job.
Also, too, Ron
how-
Perlman, so he's not a stranger to the Aliens franchise. This will probably be redeeming for him
Yeah.
after Resurrection. I would have to pick Ash from Ash and the Evil Dead.
Okay.
What is his chainsaw hand?
His chainsaw hand, yes. You can't have Ash without the chainsaw hand. Just have them all three on a
On a
colonial
ship, as a
marine
team.
ship. Just send them there.
Like 3 different attitudes. Just I think
Rick's the leader because if he's not the leader, he'll go crazy. You got Ash telling the jokes.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like Hellboy would get annoyed with Ash.
I think they will be pets.
But this has been another episode of Nerds Around. Like, subscribe, check out the Patreon page. Also, too, check out my second channel, Jesse and Sebastian, if you want to see some more vlogs from me. I also do Sebastian draws. But again, thank you guys. Peace.